Good morning, folks. It's Groundhog Day. Did Willie see his shadow? Or Puxatawny Phil? I don't know. I've been too busy writing. On a theme that no one, or very few, are going to like. The disconnect between the gospel and postmodern gospel religion. You know, the church is only as strong as the head. When the head is weak, the whole body is weak. I was told today that it is not the job of the church to counter the greatest lie of the greatest critic of all time. Critical theory is Satan's own doctrine. He was the original critic who went before God and told God that he was going to cause his throne to ascend above God's throne, and was cast down to this world. Critical theory of cultural Marxism is the direct result of a satanic deconstruction of all proper godly order. And I was told that it wasn't the job of the church to counter it, because the brethren were too weak to hear it, and that it wasn't the job of a layperson such as myself to do anything about it, because I'm not ordained. So let's review what the scriptures actually say. Ephesians 6:11, verse 11. Put on the full armor of God, so that you will be able to stand firm against the schemes of the devil. Ephesians 6:13. Therefore put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground, and after you have done everything, to stand. And this is an evil day. If Dr. Peterson can put 5,000 people into the Canadian Tire Centre out on the highway here in Ottawa on January the 30th, and he isn't even a believer possessed of the new birth, what on earth are the churches in this town doing? And why were they not there to support him? And moreover, when I offered to help found a non-profit organization to counter cultural Marxism, so that interdenominationally gospel churches could get together and jointly work on providing teaching to pastors that could inform their congregation the nature of the ideology that we need to encounter, because it has infected every part of modern society. It's deconstructing every social norm. It's gone from the universities through the schools, because, of course, the graduates from the universities go and teach school. So now intersectional politics have gone into the school. It's infected our parliament. It's now infecting laws that are being drafted by parliament, where literally critical theory is being legislated into law. If it isn't the job of the church, I'd like to know whose job it is, and why Peterson is doing a better job than believers are. 1 Peter 5:9. But resist him, firm in your faith, knowing that the same experiences of suffering are being accomplished by your brethren who are in the world. 1 Corinthians 15:58. Be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. Philippians 1:27. Conduct yourselves in a manner worthy of the gospel of Christ, so whether I come and see you or remain absent, I will hear of you, that you are standing firm in one spirit, with one mind, striving together for the faith of the gospel. 1 Corinthians 16:13. Be on alert, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong. Philippians 4:1. Therefore, my beloved brethren, whom I long to see, my joy and crown, in this way stand firm in the Lord, my beloved. 1 Corinthians 14:26. What is the outcome then, brothers and sisters? When you assemble, each one has a psalm, has a teaching, has a revelation, has a tongue, has an interpretation. Let all things be done for edification. Does it mention being ordained here? No, it says each one of you. You know, it's interesting that when Jesus went into the temple, this is what was said of him. Those that were ordained said of Christ, how is it that this man who is uneducated comes and knows more than we do? And then again, it was said of the apostles, of Peter and John. They speak as educated men. We know they've been with Christ. Norway was created as a nation due to a constitution that was drafted in 1814 in a little place called Eidsvoll on May the 17th, 2014. It was largely a result of the work of Hans Nielsen Hauge, who was a lay preacher in Norway, detested by the Lutheran authorities and by the governmental authorities, because Lutheranism was the national state church of Norway. He went about preaching the gospel, and they kept throwing him in jail, but he did more than preach the gospel. He went out and he helped found businesses wherever he went, so that people that were suffering under the blockade that existed at that time, because Britain had blockaded Norway and Denmark due to its support of Napoleon. So people were extremely impoverished, they were starving, and he went and helped establish businesses wherever he went, as well as preaching the gospel. And the reason that they threw him into jail was because he was a lay person. And they also accused him of profiting from the businesses he helped establish, and that wasn't true either. But my point is this. He helped found a nation. And because of Hauge, a constitution was written. A constitution which still exists to this day. A constitution which is celebrated yearly as Norway's biggest holiday on May the 17th, 17. Mai. Of course the establishment hates people that are servants of Christ, that didn't come through the system that they control. The problem with our ancestors who were reformers is that they reformed Catholicism. They didn't get rid of it. They kept much of its trappings and used them in Protestant religion. It is not scriptural that we sit in a pew to listen to one man speaking to us, telling us what we must think and believe. Each one of us must study the scriptures for ourselves and study to show ourselves approved. I am ashamed of the Church of Christ today, or what passes for the Church of Christ today. You are not the bold warriors that scriptures demand that we must be. I offered to help develop a speaking series, not to speak myself, but to work with your pastors to help develop a speaking series and to found an interdenominational nonprofit organization to provide pastors with tools and information to give to their congregations so that we might fight the wickedness of critical theory, which has permeated every single cloying aspect of society, deconstructing civil society around us. There is no political solution to a moral, philosophical, and spiritual crisis. Let us fight the good fight and quit playing at being Christians. This is no time to sit on the fence. God bless you all. These are things to think and pray about today. And I'm not apologetic.